gummies. How are you today? I missed you guys. I know I haven't posted in a while, but I had a few things going on that I'll talk to you about in just a few minutes. But anyway, thank you so much for joining Bumping My Gums today. And we have a few things to talk about. I hope that you're excited and I hope that you enjoy the subject matter. If you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram where my name is Bumping My Gums. Also, please, if you are already following me on Instagram and you see the questions that I post, please join in the conversation. It's no fun bumping my gums by myself. Anywho, thank you so much again for joining. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to do is provide my review on the movie Little. Have you seen it yet? That's the movie with Regina Hall, Issa Rae, and Marsai Martin. If you have watched this movie already, please feel free to continue watching and join in the conversation by posting your comments down below, or you can go to my Instagram page and post your comments there. If you have not watched the movie, I suggest that you go ahead and pause or stop the video now and come back and join the conversation once you've had a chance to see it, because there is going to be spoiler alerts. Spoiler alerts. I plan on talking about the movie in detail. So there you go. You have your warning. There will be spoilers. Okay, so I'm going to assume that if you are going to continue to watch, that you already saw the movie and you're ready to listen to the commentary. So the first thing I want to say is this movie was, Marsai Martin, she is the female twin on the show Blackish that has Tracee Ellis Ross and Anthony Anderson. She's a little girl. And at the age of 10, she went to Will Packer and pitched this idea to him for a movie because the film is inspired by the movie Big. So it took a couple of years for them to get it into production. And she is the executive producer, and she is the youngest to ever hold the title on a motion Hollywood production. So let's take a moment and pause for that awesome accomplishment. At the age of 10, what in the world were you doing? What was I doing in my life at the age of 10, right? And then I believe she's like 14 or 15 now, and she is killing the game. When I first saw her in Blackish, I just had a feeling that she was going to be a force to be reckoned with, and she is out here doing her thing. And as a fellow black girl, I am super proud to see all of her black girl magic. And Regina Hall is also an executive producer. And then later, it's funny because she was actually brought into the project as an executive producer, and then later on, I guess when they started the casting process, they just decided to put her in the lead role as the older Jordan. That's the character name. And Marsai plays the younger Jordan. A few other stars I want to call out. So like I said before, Regina Hall is the grown Jordan. Marsai Martin is the young Jordan. Issa Rae plays April, which is Jordan's assistant. Tone Bell, he is a tech guy. Now, this guy, I wanted to mention him because I feel like I keep seeing his face coming up, which is kind of cool. So he seems to be an up-and-coming actor. Right now, he has a TV series called Fam. And then what I remember him from is a few years ago, I believe, 2014, 2015, the show only had one season, maybe 2 seasons, but he starred in the show Bad Judge with Kate Walsh. Now, Kate Walsh played Addison Montgomery on Grey's Anatomy, and then they had a spinoff called Private Practice. So he had a show with her back in 2014, 2015, and that's what I remember him from. So I was happy to see his face again and seeing that he is getting some time on the big screen. So much wishing him much success in his career. Now, when I looked up the cast, because I wanted to make sure I got people's names correct, they have Tracee Ellis Ross listed as a character, and I kept thinking, like, wait a minute, I love me some Tracee Ellis Ross. I would love if they did a reboot of Girlfriends, right, to show Girlfriends. And I kept thinking, I don't remember seeing her, right? Do you remember seeing her in the movie? No, you wouldn't have saw her. She plays the voice of Homegirl. I did not know that. As much as I follow her on Instagram and as much as I enjoy seeing her on TV, I did not catch her voice. So I thought that was awesome. And then for those of you who didn't watch the movie, Homegirl is a prototype. I want to say she is the sister girl version of Siri, however you pronounce it. But basically the character Jordan owns a technology company, and Homegirl is a prototype of like a personal assistant where she's shaped as one of those wig heads, and you can set her to wake you up in the morning. She can play your playlist. So like I said, Jordan described her as a best girlfriend that's your assistant. So anyway, so Tracee Ellis Ross is the voice for that. And then another actor I wanted to mention is Luke James. He played Johnny Gill in New Edition, and I believe he's also in that TV series called Star, and that's a spinoff of The Empire, I believe, or something like that. But anyway, I was also happy to see him. I don't really watch the TV show that he's on, but I do see the commercials for it, and it's good to see him on the big screen as well. So that's the cast. Those are the main people that you will see in the movie. So I thought it was really good to see, a motion picture with so much melanin in it. So basically the story, like I said, it starts out with Marseille as a young Jordan, where she's kind of a nerd in school, and she's has her nemesis, who is another young lady in her middle school, and she's Miss Perfect and Miss Popular and everything, and basically she gives Jordan a hard time, and Jordan was bullied in school, and she totally hated being in middle school, and she was given a presentation on stage, and the young lady who was bullying her kind of sabotaged her, so to speak, and she ended up hurting herself and hurting her arm. Like, I'm trying to give a high level overview. I don't want to ruin too much of the movie for you, but anyway, she ended up hurting herself, and then at that moment she decided that she no longer was going to be the compassionate person that she is, and she was just going to become mean and bully other people the way that she had been bullied, that the best way to not be bullied is to become the boss and to get to people first, right? So then it fast forwards to that she's an adult, and so now she is very successful, and she's rich, and she is now horrible basically to her employees, and I'm not going to say the word, but she becomes a complete and total B word. And then she yells at her employees, no carbs, and stuff like that. We're having a birthday party, and her employees are like terrified of her. They see her pulling up, and everybody starts running to the office to pretend like, head down to make sure that they're working, so she doesn't yell at them or whatever. So then she comes across with the daughter of the guy who owns a food truck, and she was like, and who is this little girl? Who is this little troll? And the little girl is like, you're mean. You shouldn't be that mean. And Jordan is like, I'm rich and I own this place, so who's going to check me, boo? Shout out to Sheree from Housewives of Atlanta. Who gonna check me, boo? And basically the little girl puts a spell on her, and then Jordan goes to sleep. She wakes up as little, and that's how the movie goes on. So first I want to say that in the beginning I was thinking, oh my gosh, I am not gonna like this, which I felt so bad because I wanted to love the movie, and I wanted to go. I went to the movie because I wanted to support the fact that it was written, and it's kind of the brainchild of a 14-year-old little girl that looks like me, a little black girl. So of course I had to go out and support this movie. So when it first started out, I was like, oh no. And then I started thinking, okay, wait, I think I'm looking at this from the wrong lens. I'm looking at this from the wrong perspective. So I'm going to talk to you from how I changed my perspective and give you those thoughts, and then I'll change the lens back to how I was looking at it originally and provide my feedback that way, if that's okay with you. So the first way I'm going to say, I'm going to look at it with being very supportive and seeing it through a 10-year-old / 14-year-old's eyes. I thought it was very cute. It was very parallel. It was very much like the movie Big, and I have to admit, I haven't watched that movie in some years. So it's not, that storyline isn't necessarily fresh in my head, but obviously we know that it was about a little boy. He went to the carnival. He wanted to be big. He went to like a Zelda or something like that machine, and that made him big. And so that starts his series. So, same, similar timeline. I thought that it was very well done. Especially, I'm glad that she pulled in adults. Of course, it wasn't just her. She was the producer. And I forget the young lady's name who was the actual writer who she pitched it to. And she became the actual writer of the script. And I want to say that the fashion was just absolutely beautiful. There is one particular dress that adult Jordan wore that was actually absolutely beautiful. It had a white base with this beautiful orange print on the front of it. It was gorgeous. So, she was very fashionable in the movie. And even as a little girl, going back to middle school, she went shopping to get clothes to fit her smaller frame. And I thought that, she was very fashionable. I wish I had her fashion sense when I was in middle school. Things probably would have a lot better for me too in school if I did. But anyway, so in my opinion, I felt like it was very well written, and it was very well done as far as looking at it through that lens. And they did a really good job. I love Issa Rae. She started out on YouTube, Awkward Black Girl. She started writing that TV series, and then now that went into her getting an offer with HBO, and now she is the I guess she's the writer, producer, whatever, the star of Insecure. I knew that. It just escaped my mind or whatever. So I was very happy to see her on the big screen as well, to get a part. The only thing I will say is, if you know, or if you've seen Issa Rae, seen some of her pictures, she is out here killing the natural hair game. So I just there's a part of me that wish they brought that part of her into that role. They had they gave her character, whose name is April, and she's the assistant to Jordan. They gave her this curly headed wig, and I just wasn't feeling it. And I'm trying to remind myself, Dorla, and I was trying to remind myself, sis, this is a character. This is not Issa Rae. But I would have loved if they had adopted one of her hairstyles and gave that to her. Because like I said, Issa Rae, whoever her hairstylist is, sis, honey, sis, yes, you do that. She is always gorgeous. Makeup well done. She's always well dressed, and her hair is just laid beautiful. And as a naturalista myself, I'm sporting it short, but as a naturalista myself, I enjoy seeing so many creative ways that she wears her hair. But anyway, I digress. That has nothing to do with the movie, but I just want to say I really wish they would have brought that piece of Issa Rae and incorporated that into April. And I understand, like I said, her character, is a young assistant who's trying to break into excuse me, who's trying to break into the technology industry or whatever. And I understand that. I fully am aware of that. But like I said, it just would have been nice to see, some cute hairstyles or whatever. So those are my thoughts in reference to that. And and I understand that Marseille, when in the beginning of the movie, she was the awkward middle schooler, but and she has natural hair. She's rocking her ponytail or whatever. Even in a part of me wanted to see, like, when she went to redo to reinvent herself or whatever, and she went back to have a second opportunity to be in middle school. I kind of wish, as a naturalista, they would have done something with her hair as well. Kind of like, now that she knows better, she's a little older, she could have done a cute little twist out or something like that to kind of, made that a part of her. But I guess, like I said, trying to keep true to the movie as far as being awkward and bullied or whatever. So whatever, but it was good. And then there were some very funny lines as well. One of my favorite parts that made me laugh is April and young Jordan had an interaction in school, because Jordan was like, no, I don't want to go back to school and relive this all over again. And April was like, look, the Child Protective Service was called in. You have to go to class, and you're not about to get me in jail, because Jordan is her has her guardian. So they had an interaction that she she had to beat her tail. And like, you go to school today because I'm not going to jail for your foolishness. I don't care if when you're big you are my boss, but you about to go to school today. You go listen. So I thought that interaction was kind of cool. Okay, so now changing my hat to looking at the movie in my through my adult lens, not giving any credit that it was the brainchild of a 10-year-old that passed it over to some adults to make to for it to be manifested into the movie that it was today. Um, so a part of it, like I said, was the daughter of the person who owns a food truck cast a spell on Jordan and turned her little. So lately, I have been kind of disappointed with some of these plots because, of course, in movies you have to have some sort of drama or suspense, and I'm kind of feeling let down as to the drama that they're creating in these movies. So the part that kind of let me down is it's the year of our father, 2019, and you have a food truck business. So as a result of the little girl putting a spell on Jordan, she was like, get out of here, so apparently the food truck leaves. So then it was a thing of when they were brainstorming the next morning trying to figure out how in the world did she turn into a little girl. It was like, oh, I remember the little girl, the girl from the food truck put a spell on me. We have to find them to see if she can reverse it. Why April say she had to go through the motor vehicles because they have to get the food trucks inspected. So they were like, oh, I found there are 12 different places that he could have gotten inspected. So I'll look there. I'll do that. Have one of the other assistants to do that research to find out if we can get the name of the food truck. Like I said earlier, it's 2019, honey. Shouldn't he have a Facebook, Instagram, some sort of social media where they could have quickly went out there into the internets to find their location? Because as a food truck, you would have to have some sort of social media website or something in order to post where you're going to be so people can find you, right? And Issa Rae, April's character was very familiar with the guy because she's like, oh, and good morning, and blah, blah, blah. So you should know the name of the food truck, right? I know. It's a story. I'm looking too deep into it, but that's just one of the things that came to my mind. Like, sis, just do that. So instead of that being a part of the drama of trying to find a food truck, maybe it could have been the thing of, oh no, he's on vacation. Him and the little girl decided to do a vacation because they're on spring break or something. Something. He has to take her back to his mom, so they decided to do a quick getaway. The grandmom died, and they had to go out of town for a funeral or something like that to make it more of an urgency as to why they couldn't just find them overnight. But anyway, that's just my opinion. And then the flip side is, like I said, to create drama when they did find a food truck. She had, at this point, young Jordan had made friends with a couple of the other awkward kids in middle school, and they were having a talent show, and she was helping them with that. So, things that came kind of to a climax or whatever, and she decided to go back to the school to help them. And then April called and was like, oh, I finally found a food truck, and you have to go today in order to catch them. I'm like, why? I mean, they're not going to vanish. You found out where they were. You got their names. So, like, what is the rush for you to rush over there right now at this moment instead of being able to go back to the middle school and take care of whatever business you needed to take back there? So, just little things like that. I'm just like, I don't know. But then again, like I said, I know I'm looking too deep into the movie. But like I said, that was just my thought at that moment. I had to pull myself back. I had to reel myself back in. Like, it's just a movie. So then, as a part of the drama, Jordan has this major client. His name is Connor, and his character was funny to me because when they were having that dialogue, the first thing I came to mind was Trump, right? Because he's like her biggest client. And he was decided that, they had been in the business for a while and it was time for him to move his business to a fresh company, someone to come up with some fresh technology ideas. And Jordan was like, no, don't go. Well, I promise you, we'll come up with some fresh ideas for you so that we can continue to do business. And Connor's dialogue was, look, I gave you a shot. And, when I first started out, no one did anything for me. Nobody gave me a shot. When I went to my father and I asked him for a mere $10 million, $10 $10 million. He's saying it like it's a $500 loan. So I asked my dad for $10 million because I had ideas and things that I wanted to do. And you know what? He didn't give me the full $10 million. He only gave me $5 million. So I had to humble myself and go to my grandparents to ask them for the other $5. So I kind of chuckled to myself because that was reminiscent of some things that I've heard Donald Trump saying. Oh, when I got started in my business, my father gave me a measly $1 million to get started in my business. So rich people problems, right? So that gave you a little chuckle about that. But even in that, that was a little bit predictable because I'm thinking April had an idea about a game or an app or something that she wanted to pitch to Jordan because but Jordan was the way that she was afraid to pitch it, whatever. And then as soon as he was saying that he was going to take his business other way, and I was like, watch, the idea that April has is going to be what saves the company, right? So that was good. But at the end, it turns out that they weren't able to keep Connor as an employee. So I was incorrect about that piece. So I was happy for that plot twist that I wasn't able to predict the whole entire end of the movie. So there was a little bit of a plot twist at the end. So that didn't happen. So I was pleasantly surprised and happy about that. The other thing that I wanted to mention too, that there is a scene where Jordan and April go shopping and they're, stopped at a restaurant to have a little dinner, and April has a glass of wine and young Jordan is like, I just want to taste. And she's like, no, look at people are looking at us. I can't give you a sip of this. And it was a table of 2 older ladies having lunch too. And she was like, you got the aunties over here giving me the side eye, thinking I'm giving a child alcohol. So I don't know if I blinked, if I dozed off real quick, but then the next thing I know, young Jordan is up on a bar singing I'm Going Down in a restaurant. And I'm like, what happened here? Like, what prompted her? To me, that scene kind of looked like it was more to it, and they may have edited out some things, but they left that particular scene in there. And to me, probably whatever was edited out before that scene would have probably explained what was going on a lot better than the way that they edited it. That's the way I left. It was a cute scene and it was funny, but it was kind of out of place in my opinion. Like, what happened? Like, did April walk away and go to the bathroom, and Jordan did get into the wine, get her a little sip, and because she's younger, she can't hold her alcohol, and that's what kind of made her hop up on that bar and sing in the middle of this restaurant, I'm Going Down. I don't know, but it was a cute and funny scene, but like I said, but it was kind of out of place. I'm like, well, where did that come from? What motivated that? Let's see. And then Jordan's boyfriend. So Jordan was seeing this guy, and you could tell that she likes him, but she's not allowing herself to go all in because of the fact that she has been disappointed in her past. And she was like, nope, if you don't fully give your heart to anyone, there's no chance for getting your heart broken. Sorry, all that bump in my gums. So, she's kind of holding herself at bay. But there's a couple of times in the movie where he was kind of like acting like a middle schooler himself. And I'm thinking, well, how did you pull such a boss lady like Jordan and you walking around here like you are, some kid yourself? So I thought that was funny, and I was just like, well, why are you acting like I'm in school? Because he pops up over to the apartment one day, and April and young Jordan are there, and he comes to the conclusion that Jordan is young Jordan is big Jordan's daughter. And he was like, oh, and that's why she acts the way she does, because she was trying to hide you from me, and it's okay, and I'm willing to take you on or whatever. And their interaction was cute too. But so anyway, so those were the things that kind of stuck out to me in reference to the movie. Like I said, what are your thoughts? If you saw the movie, what do you think? What are your feelings about the movie? Did you enjoy it overall? What are some of the parts? What are some of your favorite lines that you enjoyed about the movie? Like I said, overall, once I shifted my mindset to enjoy the movie for as a young a movie because it was a lot of kids in the movie theater too. So I had to take away my adult lens and not realize I'm not in there to see a rated R 17 and older type crowd movie. I was able to sit back and enjoy it for I guess, a preteen type of comedy thing or whatever. But I want to say for the first time as a 14-year-old, I believe that Marseille Martin did an excellent job, and I'm glad that I spent my coins to go out to support a young black woman, a young lady who is dipping her hands into production, because I believe her and her parents now have a production company. Like, they have a office, a separate office for her production company and everything. So I'm looking forward to seeing more productions coming from her company. And I appreciate you for tuning in. I know that there are so many other YouTube videos that you could be watching right now, but you took the time to come by to listen to me bump my gums, and I appreciate you. Please click the subscribe button and also hit that bell so the next time that I post a video, you will be notified. And like I said, I'm encouraging you to please subscribe. I have 25 subscribers, and I would love to see that grow to 30 within the next couple of weeks. Can you help me with that, gummies? Can you assist me? Can you help me reach 30 subscribers? I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a great day on purpose.